Welcome to That Eight, a queer food podcast. I'm your host, Justin Burke. This episode is a little different. We're not explicitly unpacking queerness in food. We're kind of just living in it. This is what it sounds like when two queer cookbook authors sit down, talk shop, and realize their paths cross in a way that feels bigger than coincidence. I'm joined by my friend, Casey Elsass, cookbook writer extraordinaire, also known as a cookbook doula. Casey has helped bring so many cookbooks into the world as a ghostwriter and co author, but his book, What Can I Bring, is his first solo cookbook. And as you know, I'm a first time writer too. So this conversation is about that shared experience, what it's like to write your first book, what goes into it, what surprises you, and how somewhere in the middle of it all, a friendship forms. It's a little banter, a little behind the scenes, and a lot of what happens when food brings people together. I'm really glad you're here. Casey, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm thrilled to get to speak with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I think let's just kick it off with a quick introduction of who Casey is. Like, walk us through who you are, where you're from, what you're doing now.
So existential.
Right.
Um,
You're welcome.
I am a cookbook author, recipe developer, food writer in Brooklyn. My first me cookbook came out back in May, but before that, I had written 19 cookbooks with other people,
Wow.
ghostwriting and co-authoring, which has earned me the nickname the Cookbook Doula, which I think is a perfect way to sum it
Yes.
up.
I love that. I love that name so much.
Me too.
How did ghostwriting start? How did this career for you start?
Um, I lied, is the truth.
I love it.
Before I was doing this, I had a food company, a condiment company, and I
Okay.
wrote, do you remember the cookbook series Short Stack editions?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I
Yes.
wrote one of those, which felt very fluky that they even said yes to me doing that. And then an editor at Clarkson Potter had got me of that book. She reached out about a cookbook based on my company, but I was in the process of selling my company at that point. So that just didn't happen. And then she reached out again later because she had signed Tasty, BuzzFeed's food
Mhm.
brand, to a series of cookbooks. The person who had been writing, do you know Ben Mim?
Yes.
He had
Very
been
much.
writing
Yes.
them, and then he was moving to LA to go write for the LA Times. So she needed a
Yeah.
new writer to come in and finish out the contract. And so she put me in touch with the people at Tasty. They had seen my little short stack book. And when we talked on the phone, they were like, and you've written other cookbooks. And I was like, sure. Yeah, okay.
You're like, in fact, I did.
If
So
you say
many.
so. But like, if they don't know the answer, I'm not going to correct it. So I
Yeah.
just kind of let that assumption exist.
Uh-huh.
And that first book, I did a lot of Googling and a lot of taking notes during meetings. But writing and cooking were always kind of my natural aptitude. So that part I wasn't
Yeah.
stressed about. But it was really cool working at BuzzFeed. I did 3 Tasty cookbooks and then one more cookbook for their other food brand. It
Mhm.
was a really nice place to learn because I was in a structure of other people who were
Yeah.
also responsible for that material. But all of the work of building the cookbook outline, developing the recipes, writing, but then also building the photo shoot schedule, going through the rounds of
Mhm.
edits, that was all my responsibility. So it was a really great training ground for how you build a book from beginning to end, but still within the production of doing it in a company where other people were weighing in. So by the time I wrapped up my contract there, I felt very prepared to walk anybody through any
Mhm.
stage of the process since I'd gone the full span
I
myself so
mean,
many
it was
times.
like a crash course for you.
Totally. Yeah. It was great. It was perfect.
Having been through the whole process of writing a cookbook, there are a lot of questions,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's very difficult to get the answers. And having all that experience and that knowledge was very rare and treasured.
Yeah. Editors have such a big workload. They're working
Mhm.
on so many books. And so they don't always have time to explain everything in the most clear way.
Mhm.
So I feel like a lot of times where I'm most useful is like after the call recap of, okay, when they said this, what that meant was, or we have to do this now because in 6 months, this is going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely experienced that. Like I approached it where I want to download all information. Teach me this part of the industry, teach me this business.
Hmm.
And I would get answers or I wouldn't get answers, but the answers I did get, I was like, still don't know what we're talking about or
Yeah.
what to anticipate here. But yeah. Uh, so you mentioned it, but who coined the nickname for you, Cookbook Doula? Because it is 100% accurate and
I
I love
know.
it so
It
much.
is really good. So that initial editor who used to be at Clarkson Potter and now
Hmm.
is at Union Square, my imprint, Amanda Englander, coined it at some point, and I don't remember when, but after she left Clarkson, we worked on a bunch of cookbooks together. And at some point in there is when she came up with it. And it is the best way to sum it all up because I walk into projects at so many different stages and I get them to birth in the
Yeah.
analogy, but
Yeah.
to submitting their manuscript through their photo shoot, whatever it is. I sometimes come in at the proposal stage and we start from the very beginning and we go out together and sell that book as a duo. Sometimes I get hired a month before the manuscript is due and they haven't written any of their head notes or an introduction. And they just need someone to come in and write and just get
Yeah.
this book finished for them, and then all various stages in between. But I think the other way the analogy really fits too is that because I've done it so many times and I understand how the process works, I can advocate for my writers in a way that they can't
Yeah.
advocate for themselves because I know what's possible. I know if we need to adjust a couple things to work on a slightly different timeline, we can still do this and get to our goals ultimately. But
Yeah.
it's just like information a first time author would not have.
You get to take these people's dreams and like aspirations and like you're coaching them, you're coming alongside them and like you said, birthing them. For anyone who has not written a cookbook,
It does feel
it
that.
is
I mean, I've never
intense.
given birth. It
Yeah.
feels a lot like it's
It's a physical, mental, and emotional roller coaster for
yeah, and
sure.
it's a very long process. Like, you have to
Yeah.
sit with it for a very long time before it
Mhm.
actually is finished.
And you read it over and over again, and it gets to the
Mhm.
point where you've read it so much, you're like, "This sucks. No one's gonna like it."
Totally.
That was an experience. But let's talk about ghostwriting and also just publishing a cookbook. I think so many people assume the trajectory is you're a chef or a food writer, recipe developer, or someone with a platform like an influencer or a celebrity, and you write and you develop the recipes, and then you have a cookbook. But it's not always the person whose name is on the cover of the book who's done the heavy lifting or the writing or development. So
Right.
let's first explain what ghostwriting is for cookbooks. Like what does it actually look like?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 paths. There's ghostwriting and there's co-authoring. So
Mhm.
when you see a book where it says "with so and so," that's co-authoring. Ghostwriting is the name is not on the book at all. But I would say for me personally, if I'm ghostwriting, I'm typically doing the recipes and the writing. If I'm co-authoring, typically I'm just writing.
Okay.
So, for example, when I work with chefs,
Mhm.
I co-author because they are more than capable of cooking the food. Where they struggle is translating that food into a recipe format. And
Mhm. That makes sense.
so I'll go to the restaurant and sit with them while they're cooking and just play ref and say like, "Okay, grab a tablespoon. I need to know how much olive oil, or we can't have 5 garnishes and 4 sauces. No one has a
Mhm.
prep kitchen in their home."
Yeah.
And then just putting all that information into the standard recipe format. When I'm working with a celebrity, an influencer, an athlete, they're busy with what their brand is. I think the important thing we should say is cookbooks are not a revenue stream. Cookbooks support your revenue
Correct.
stream. So
Correct.
for them, it's a branding exercise to support the bigger picture of their business.
Mhm.
And they don't have the time to spend in the kitchen for a year, 6 months, however much time we have, developing 75, 100 recipes that fit in that theme. So that's
Yeah.
where I come in and I do that work all in consultation with them. I want their ideas. I want them tasting as much as possible.
Mhm.
But most of the work of doing the book is on my plate.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
It's the more you do it, the easier it gets. I understand my rhythm with it, and I know when I'm going to have busy periods.
Yeah. How many books do you work on at a time? Like, what do you strive to to keep it all
Yeah.
manageable?
It's it's hard to put an exact number because books are a 2-year process,
Mhm.
but the work on the book gets significantly less in the 2nd year. Once you submit your manuscript,
Yeah.
once you have your photo shoot, you're just in the editing round, and at that point, you're just seeing the book every month, every other month, and you're spending a few
Mhm.
days editing and then sending it back. So to me, those are kind of like the inactive projects at that point.
Yeah.
I would say usually it's a balance of about 6 books, but, like, 2 of them are kind of in that wrapping up stage, 2 of them are early, 2 are in the middle, and then
Mhm.
I try to keep it just to 1 book at a time where I'm recipe developing. So, like, right now, I'm finishing a book, recipe developing, and that'll end just in time for me to start the next book that needs me to recipe develop.
Gotcha. You talked about it a little bit. What other roles have you played in creating a cookbook aside from the writing and development of recipes? I heard you say that you're also like their unlicensed therapist of the process, which having gone through it, I know what that means. But yeah, what other roles, how else have you like contributed and supported?
I think therapist is probably my number 1 job in most books. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's, I mean, it's a great job. I love it. It's amazing how universal the experience of writing a book is for
Hmm.
everybody. Everyone experiences the same doubt, the same insecurity. It's a very vulnerable thing to
Hmm.
put, and a lot of times it's a very personal story that they want to tell, or these recipes mean a lot to them. So everyone has a big crash out at some point, but where it happens is always different for everybody.
Yep.
But I think a lot of my job is to be the calm one, to be the
Hmm.
sensible one. It's very easy. I care about these books deeply, but they're not my books. So there is a
Hmm.
nice emotional detachment from them that I get to experience. And I try to relay some of that to them. But a lot of my work also is project managing and keeping everything on time, keeping everything moving, especially planning the photo shoot. In a lot of situations, like I sort of present them with photo teams that I really love to work with, and we meet with them and pick them. And then I do a lot of the building the shot list, building the mood board, which that part I super love. To me, the photo shoot is like the
That's,
reward at the
ugh,
end of it.
that's so much fun. It's so fun.
It is. It's the best.
It's like such a wild, accelerated experience of emotion, but also you're seeing this thing that you've been working on
Mhm.
for years, over a
Yeah.
year, come to life, you know?
Yeah. You've been staring at
So,
a Word doc for so long, and then finally everything is in its most beautiful form, better than
yeah.
you could have imagined it.
What I loved about it too is even having like in recipe development, like of course you have some of the recipes tested, but what was really great and reassuring was seeing other people during the photo shoot make the desserts like for my
Mhm.
cookbook. And I was like, oh, whew, like they
Yeah.
work. Like the people can follow the instructions and it works. Like it was great. I think what's really amazing about your work or what I find that I admire a lot is how your work and your accomplishments have contributed and shaped modern cookbook literature. Whether you believe it or not, like it's pretty remarkable.
It has changed my cooking completely,
I'm
just learning
sure.
from all
I'm
these
sure.
people, or even
Yeah.
if I'm, like, working on a celebrity book and their style of food is not something I'm super familiar with, it's
Hmm.
really fun to spend time researching and getting to know and understand that style of cooking.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I'm kind of done talking about other people's books. I want to talk about yours. Cuz I love your book and
Thank you.
I have found like kinship with your book because there are a lot of similarities
Mhm.
of messaging. The books that we created are these like surprised buddies. So, your book, What Can I Bring? Before we get into the questions that I have for you, let's give your elevator pitch of what the book is about because some people might not know about it.
Yeah. Something I wanna say real quick about books
Sure.
coming out. I didn't know this until it was my book and I got to experience it for
Mhm.
real. It's very cute how it kinda becomes a class. We
Mhm.
were spring what year are we? 2025.
Yeah.
And it was very sweet how, like, in the group of us, like, we would show up on lists together, like,
Mhm.
it becomes like a unit of books that are out and being pushed right now,
Yeah.
but I got this really nice kinship and friendship with a lot of people who had
Mhm.
books around the same time, and that was the part of the experience I didn't know about, and I really loved that part of it.
But it's so true. It's so beautiful. I will be very proud, like you said, of our class of cookbooks.
Mhm.
I
It
felt
was
like
a
we were
good one.
also it was a good one, and we were, like, really each other's cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
like, I
really how I
remember
felt.
I remember our books were put on a list. I didn't know it was put on a list, and you sent me, like, a DM, and you're like, "Look, babe, like, you're on
Yeah.
this list." And I was like, "What?"
But a
Like,
lot of
it
people
really
texted me links too that I
yeah.
didn't know about. It was
It's
great.
it's it's a sense of it's not competition. We complement each other, and it's beautiful and a huge achievement that we should be celebrating one another. But yeah, I love that description. Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
don't
love
know if
that.
the fall books were as chummy with each other, but I think us spring
Well,
books really had a good thing.
our spring kids in early summer, we were like
Yeah.
BFFs. It was like
Totally.
camp. But yeah,
Um,
like what? Yeah,
okay, my
what can
book.
I bring?
So the question that we all have to ask, I think, is a stressful one and a loaded one. So I wanted to build let's call it a self-help cookbook that has
Okay.
75 solutions to the question we all have to ask. So there's dips, drinks, salads, 2 chapters of dessert, because I think we get asked to bring that most
Hmm.
often, and a little chapter at the back that are edible food gifts. If your host says just bring yourself, but you still want to bring a
Yeah,
little gift to leave behind for them.
I love that. That's like one of my favorite chapters.
That's been a controversial one, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I just post one up on Cup of Joe, and it was
Uh
one
huh.
of the recipes from that chapter. And so I wrote a little essay
Uh
to
huh.
introduce the recipe, and a spirited debate broke out in the comments about whether even bringing a gift is appropriate when someone's hosting you, which was a little crazy, but
I was just
more
like,
people agreed with me than didn't. So
yeah. One, I like to be disobedient, and if you tell me not to bring anything, I'm still going to bring something.
yeah,
Not
I'm
in
not
a
trying to
not to
disrupt anyone's dinner, but
yeah.
like a little thank you.
Like you're still putting in time and resources to
Mhm.
host, and it's a nice thing to do. And maybe it's my time living in the South for the past almost 10 years. Like I it's like that's just good hospitality.
I
Like,
agree. Yes, I think it's crazy to walk in empty-handed, but then also so many hosts get so grumpy about flowers, they get grumpy
mhm,
about wine, they get grumpy about candles, so you can't win, just make something
no.
edible.
Yeah, 100%. Now I love that chapter. When did you know it was time to write your own book? Like what was that moment?
I had the idea for the book during the pandemic, during quarantine, like very
Mhm,
early on. My friends from BuzzFeed and I were all in a group chat, and I just said the name of the book as a joke in the group chat.
mhm.
And then I was like, hold on, that's actually really good.
It's a
And
really good
so
title.
I know I just was like, I gotta keep that. So I built a Google Doc, and just very slowly over several years, it just was kind of like in the background. Like
Mhm.
when a good idea popped in my head, I'd open the doc and throw it in there and then close it and go back to my
Yeah.
life. It was interesting because I was thinking a lot about this book at a time when getting together was a very fraught thing to do
Yeah.
and
We didn't know if it
required
was ever gonna happen again.
right, like, and there were a lot of rules and a lot of checking in, and it just wasn't free and easy like it had been, so I knew that wasn't the right time.
Mhm.
I also knew getting a cookbook deal is really hard if you don't come with a big platform. A
Yeah.
lot of publishers need you to have at least 100K. I mean, at this point, probably double that on
Yeah. Yeah.
some social media platforms to feel like they're willing to give you a book deal.
Mhm.
which I think is crazy, but that's another issue.
Yeah,
And
that's
also it keeps me employed, so I can't complain that much about
yeah.
it. But I knew my way into a book deal was going to be through merit and through relationships. And so I
Mhm.
didn't mind having the extra time to expand my network, build up my portfolio, work for a few other imprints, and just build my reputation as someone that they could count on to deliver a
Yeah.
cookbook. So yeah, after a few years of both of those things, I don't know where the like impulse came from.
Mhm.
The Google Doc had a lot of stuff in it, and I think I kind of felt like, okay, I think I could write this. And I think like a couple projects were wrapping up, and I saw a window where it would make sense to do it. And so my boyfriend and I were at dinner. Also, I had not told a single person about this Google Doc because I
Oh,
knew
really?
if I said that title to the wrong person, it would be out of my hands so
Oh,
fast.
100%.
So I kept my lips zipped. Nobody knew that I was working on this. And so my boyfriend and I were out to dinner, and I said, okay, I think I'm going to talk to my agent tomorrow about something.
Mhm.
So I want to tell you about it. And so he was the first person.
Wait, your boyfriend didn't know either?
No, he wouldn't
You and
tell
I
anybody, but
you and I are like you and I are this like I do this to my husband. Like, I just recently I finally told him about the podcast. I was like I was like,
Six
"Oh,
episodes in.
I have this idea and I'm doing it." And it's not because I think he's gonna tell someone. It's just like that there's that possibility of it getting out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
no,
also
I get it.
I tend to be kind of private about
Mhm.
projects anyways when they're in the
Yeah.
gestation period.
Yeah.
I need my time to think about it and process it in my own way before I'm
Mhm.
ready for the next stage where I want input and I want
Mhm.
feedback. But I
Well, I
think
think
I'm
that's
very
a
protective of things in the
well,
beginning.
I think too that's just how creative minds work. Like
Mhm.
we because I am obviously I'm the same way. I like to marinate the idea. I like to like I can't even explain to you how many tabs I have for future cookbooks. Like
Mhm.
7, 8 at this
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
with lists of recipes, but I don't tell anyone. I don't even
Mhm.
tell I don't tell Lewis. Like I'm marinating it. So I completely understand what you're saying. Like it's just part of the creative process and it's for us and for us only.
Yeah. Yeah. So I told Pacifico I had a meeting scheduled with Allison, my agent, the
Mhm.
next day. And I actually was really nervous to tell her. I was nervous to tell Pacifico too. I think it like
Mhm.
took me a second to get it out just because it had been so close to my chest for so long.
Mhm.
Saying it out loud felt really weird.
Yeah.
But I was nervous to tell Allison because that's really the turning point where I'm gonna find out if this idea is good or if this is a nightmare idea.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm never writing a cookbook. We got on the phone. I was like, I have an idea for a book. And I think if I just tell you the title of it, you'll understand what the book is. And so I said, the book is called What Can I Bring? And she immediately said, get me that proposal right away. I will sell this book. And I think like pretty quick, I think within like 3 days I had written the proposal. It was just
Yeah.
so ready to go. I knew what was
Yeah.
going in it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. How fun. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
fantastic title. What was the process like writing your cookbook? Like you weren't bouncing off of someone else, like it was you and only you. How was that?
Yeah. Parts of it were super easy,
Mhm.
and I knew the process and I knew what I wanted, and a lot of things just kind of flowed. And then part of it was really weird because I had only ever done cookbooks as a group project,
Mhm.
and being truly alone writing the book was really strange. And I'm a
Yeah.
very collaborative person, I'm a very social person, so working in isolation is not for me anyways.
Yeah.
But it was especially hard because now this is the most important thing I've done, and I did kinda miss having, like, the one other person that I could turn
Mhm.
to and just say, "What do you think about this?" or "Where does this go?" or my friends Emily and Robbie spent a lot of time on the phone with me listening to me stress out and spin out about very unimportant things, but, like, they can only
Yeah.
be responsible for so much information, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was kind of weird. But luckily, my editor, Caitlin, who has left Union Square now, but I absolutely loved her. And I felt
Mhm.
like from the first time we met on Zoom, I felt like she understood the book in the same way that I did. She actually like said a couple jokes in that Zoom that I like quietly wrote down because I was like, oh, I'm stealing that if I don't work with this lady. Like, that's good. But I
Uh,
just felt like she was a great collaborator. And it really
yeah.
felt like in the editing process that we really morphed into this better version of the book that I feel really proud of.
And I try so hard to explain to people the experience. And I mean, you're right. Like unlicensed therapists, like it is a lot of therapy. Depending on the type of book you're writing, it will unlock a lot of things internally.
Mhm.
Things that you may have thought you of unpacked will actually show up not unpacked. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, we're gonna work through that. So um
Honestly, the hardest part for me, which really caught me off guard, but days leading up to announcing my book on Instagram were
uh-huh.
the absolute most difficult part of the entire process for me.
Because it
And
was
I'm
real. Because it
still
made it real.
I guess, I don't know. I like that was the moment that I was like, "Oh, I think I need to go back to therapy." Like, I don't know what this was. Like,
Yeah.
but I just like making the post for Instagram to say, "Hey, I wrote this book. It's on pre-order. It comes
Yeah.
out this day." Every part of me did not wanna do that part of it. And I think it just was kind of the, like, opening it up to the wide world in this way that I
Yeah.
was like, "Ugh, can't I just edit it forever?"
Yeah, it makes it real, and then, like, imposter syndrome clicks in, and then when you throw in social media, it's like, now it's become performative, and,
Yeah,
like,
well, I hate
how do you
Instagram so much
ugh,
anyway, like
how do you minimize social media's performative?
but I did that morning before I posted it, the night before, I had been sous chefing at my friend's pop-up the night
Mhm.
before, and a couple friends who have written cookbooks were there, and I was kind of talking to them about it, and they're like, "Don't. You're gonna, like, feel so much love, and everyone's gonna feel so excited." And so the morning as I had the post ready to go and I was about to hit send or post or whatever, I, like, consciously took a moment to be like, "Okay, instead of being nervous about this, I have to take a second and just be proud of everything I had to do to get to this
Mhm.
point." And it's real dumb to waste this moment being like, "Ugh," and,
Yeah.
like so I did
Yeah.
take a second and felt like, "Okay, yes, this was a lot of work for me personally to get to the moment where I could
Yeah.
announce that I have a cookbook coming out."
Well, also too, like, this is the first time you're experiencing in cookbook writing career, like this is yours. It's not
Mhm.
attached to another person's name,
Right.
or not even mentioned at all. Like
Yeah.
this is this is yours,
It's just me out
um,
there.
and it is a body of work that lives on forever. The day before pub day, so my book published the same day John Birdsall's book,
Yeah.
What is Queer Food, published, and
Mhm,
that was so special to me because we developed a friendship, and he sent me an email with this beautiful message that he received one time of like the hard work is over. Like
mhm,
the book is out. What the book does after this is up to the universe, like the
mhm.
readers. You did the work. Be proud of it. Don't stress about the other stuff that comes afterwards. And I bawled because I was just like, this is my first thing of not being attached to someone else. Like it's not in partnership with, or I'm not just someone's pastry chef of their restaurant. Like
Right.
this was mine, and it's crazy. It's crazy. What I love about your book too is I wouldn't necessarily say that like Casey's book is about potlucks or Casey's book is about dinner parties. It's about when you gather with food. I'm curious, is there a potluck that happened in your life that left a mark on you? Maybe it was a queer potluck memory that just really helped define your personal or professional life? And did any of that make its way into What Can I Bring?
I don't know if it was, like, one formative
Mhm,
moment. I definitely grew up in a family that liked to host and liked to have people over, and there was always a
mhm.
collaborative element to that, not a, "We're making the menu, don't you dare bring something."
Yeah.
Um I feel like a lot of my mom's friends kind of had their signature dishes, and those were
Mhm.
sort of the fixtures of what we would expect. And then when I moved to New York in my teens and 20s, like, mostly we were just sort of, like, broke, and so we would just sort of make
Yeah.
dinner for each other, and it was very simple. But as we, like, moved into career jobs with salaries and, like, would get together, like, I
Yeah.
loved hosting Friendsgivings at my house. I loved
Mhm.
having people over, and I loved opening it up to contributions.
The other thing I love about your book is the visuals. Like, it is a visually fun book.
Thank you.
And to me, it is visually queer. I was just like, yes, like this is fantastic. Can we talk about the design and the photo shoot
Mhm.
process when you were talking to yourself about making this book? Did you know what you want it to look like, or was it something that came about after you submitted the manuscript or was writing? Like what was the process?
Yeah. The visual language of the book, I did not know in the beginning, and then as I was writing it, I felt so strongly
Mhm.
that this could not be shot in a studio with perfect images, that
Mhm.
the whole point of the book was getting together, and so I
Yeah.
wanted it to feel like the food had moved from one place to another place and was being shared and enjoyed. That was not a great conversation with my publisher. They wanted the exact opposite and wanted a very sterile version of a studio shoot.
Mhm.
And I was willing to meet in the middle and not do it in a studio, do it in an actual space with actual people, but get coverage of everything.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't just be a hand and a torso in every shot,
Right.
which I thought was a great middle ground. It's sort of,
Yeah.
we have the material we need, but then there's also a huge lifestyle element to this book. It was a lot of back and forth. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we got to shoot the book the way I want to shoot the book. And I feel so proud of how that photo shoot came out. It was a task, it was a lot of work. We shot it in 5 days, which is
5
very
days.
tight. Yes.
Good
But the
grief.
nice thing was, I know it's crazy, but it actually, like, of all the shoots, I feel proud that almost every book I've worked on, the photo shoot set has been very calm, very
Mhm.
enjoyable. This was a whole different level of
Yeah.
just floating in space. Like, it just felt great. We were not rushed. We were not trying to squeeze in extra shots every day. It all went according to plan. It all went on time. And it was also really beautiful. I had 40 of my friends come to set spaced out
Mm.
over those days. It was so nice just to have a flow of the people I love the most coming in and out the door. Sometimes they just, like, stayed and hung out all day. Sometimes they had an hour between meetings that they could run the
Yeah.
set. And then my photographers, it was Gentle and Hire shot my book, and we shot it in their apartment. They have one of those incredible Soho loft apartments that you had to be
Oh,
here in the
yeah.
80s to get,
Yeah.
and it just was such a beautiful space, and they are, I mean, the most professional, the most experienced, so every idea I threw at them, they found a way to make that work. And my food stylist, Tito Huang, prop stylist, Steph DeLuca,
Mhm.
just the tightest team of people who were so down to figure out this vision and just roll with it. And it just, yeah, there was like, there was no stress, there was no fighting, there was no like tension. It just, it was so cool. And everybody that came to set was just like, that was heaven. That, like,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted the energy to be on set. And I think because of that, we got these like gorgeous, relaxed, beautiful photos that, to me, I flip through the book and I feel the energy of that set. I feel
Mhm.
how much my friends loved me, that they showed up for me in that way. I feel how excited everybody was to get to be part
Yeah.
of this project in a really significant way. It's really special. It
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows. Like, that was something when it was time for me to approach the design and the photo shoot. And I know myself well enough to know that, like, sometimes when I'm very passionate and dedicated to an idea of mine, I can propose it, but can kind of come off like a bulldozer. Like, you can push back, but I ain't moving.
Yeah.
um, but for some reason, I was just like, okay, I got the book that I wanted to write. I have full autonomy of the messaging and the narrative, but I will be flexible with the photography and the design.
Yeah.
I pitched my idea. And the thing that I said, there were two things that I said specifically. I was like, I want more people than just food
Mhm.
because we're talking about potlucks. They are a huge component. And then I said, I don't want a cohesive theme. I want it to be chaotic and eclectic like a potluck. Like we just threw
Uh-huh.
a bunch of stuff together. And I was so lucky. My art director at Countryman, Allison, she was just like, I got it. Run with it. Like, I was like, really? Like, this is insane. And then had to build the team. And like you said, like we were just so excited about this project. And I think for them being seasoned in photography, like photography and styling cookbooks, like they got to play where they usually don't get to play.
Yeah.
And for me, I was getting to learn. I learned so much. Something that I love about both of our books, and I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you've noticed it, but like I said early on in the episode, like Casey and I did not know each other. Like we never spoke. I mean, I knew of Casey, but prior to our books publishing, like, we did not know each other. We did not
Mhm.
communicate about each other's books.
Yes.
But there is something that we both did in our cookbooks, a crazy example of being aligned or creative brains vibing,
Yeah.
not knowing it. So in Casey's book, there's a disposable camera that you
Mhm.
see throughout the book. In Potluck Desserts, my book, I use a Polaroid camera.
Polaroid, yes.
And it's just like this through line of like queerness and what gathering around food does in our community and what it looks like and that vibe. And it was just so synchronized, but unintentional. I want to know why you chose a disposable camera. I can tell you why I did it for Polaroids. For me, my first queer potluck, there was a Polaroid camera, but I think if I remember, it was like the iZod version where it was like
Mhm.
the small and it can be
Yeah,
sticked
the
to
strips.
things.
Yeah.
Strips, yeah. I just loved the rawness. It was unfiltered and it's authentic. And that for me was capturing what queer potlucks look like and what the come as you are, we accept who you are, be who you are vibe. And that's how it made it into the book. And it was also my way of keeping the budget of getting more photos, but not spending more money and getting more people versus food. Where did the idea for the disposable camera come from for you?
The disposable camera was there in my proposal. I had this kind of like idea that I was going to do these sort of like breakout expert sections on like how to build a bouquet from a bodega of flowers
Hmm.
or like how to pick the best wine on a budget. And then I was going to ask like a photographer friend to give tips on like taking the best disposable camera pictures. So that was kind of part of it. And then for my proposal photos of the recipes, I took all those pictures on a disposable camera and then used the scans in my proposal. So I don't really know why, except that I love disposable camera, especially during the pandemic. I really
Yeah.
got hooked on them and was taking a lot of pictures on them. And yeah, I just have like kind of a big archive of disposable camera photos. When I go on vacation, I love to
Hmm.
pack a couple and have those be my like primary photo. Like I just hate social media. I hate my phone. Any excuse to use something analog is always going to fly with me. But yeah, the disposable camera kind of became a cute little character in the book and it pops up here and there. And I really love that. But also, as we were shooting the book over those 5 days, I used up all the disposable cameras that were on set. So everyone that came into set, I took a picture of them and to kind of go with their picture that would end up in the book.
I just loved that coincidence. It was pretty special.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
sweet.
all right. I hate this question, but I'm going to ask you this question. Don't be mad at me. What is your favorite recipe and what can I bring? I know it's a hard choice.
You're gonna hate this answer.
Oh
I
no.
don't I don't answer that question. I think what I have my favorites, of course. I think what was really interesting to me was watching my friends finally flip through the book,
Hmm.
and the things that I love, they blow right past them,
Yeah.
and things that I felt kinda whatever about, they land on those pages and they're obsessed. And so it's been really interesting to me to see, because what can I bring is a very personal point of view. I love seeing what resonates with each person
Yeah.
and what they feel like, oh, I could make that. I could do that. I will say there have been some breakout hits that I feel happy with. The Jello mold,
Yeah.
definitely one of them. The potato salad, which is on the cover,
Mhm.
a lot of people have made that and made it over and over, which I think is a great compliment.
Did you find there was a recipe in your cookbook that you're like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a good recipe. It fits. It belongs in there, but no one's gonna like," but then,
Mhm.
like, it's like the one recipe that everyone seems to be making over and over and over again and telling you about it?
Yeah, there's one recipe that was fully filler. Like, I just
Mhm.
needed one more, my chapters to be even, and so it just threw it in, didn't even spend that much time on it. It's very simple and straightforward, and so many imprints ran that recipe when my book came out, and on their own picked it out independently, all were attracted to it, so it's
Yeah.
good. I'm not embarrassed of it, but I just was like,
Yeah.
"That one?"
It's so funny, like, when doing recipe development, my husband and I were very much tired of desserts after that book. We were like, "No
I
more." Like,
bet.
he joked, he's like, "Can you do a vegetable cookbook next?" Like, we were just so over it, but there was one recipe that we shopped it around among our friends, and they were like, "This is your hero recipe. This is the
Mhm.
recipe everyone's gonna be talking about." Not one single person has talked about this. Not one person has, like, ran it in their publications,
Yeah.
and at first I was, like, hurt, but then I was like, "That's fine, like, they'll discover it when they discover it." But the recipe for me that was, like, I was like, "This is the recipe you all are, like, gravitating towards?" It's the scotcheroos, and
Mhm.
instead of using creamy peanut butter, I used chunky peanut butter
Yeah.
because I was like, I cannot stand scotcheroos because they get compressed so much that the rice cereal loses its crunch. I was like, I
Yeah.
need texture. And that one, like, at least once a month, I'm like, good job, you made it. Like, it's, um,
Isn't
yeah.
that so cute? I also that part I didn't expect was, like, people I do not know at all
Hmm.
making my recipes is a really
Yes.
wild feeling and exciting. But the first time I got, like, a DM request because someone had tagged me in their story of
Hmm.
something, and I went to their profile and there was no mutuals. I just was like, "What? How?"
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
forgot
Yeah.
that cookbooks just, like, go into the world and it's not just your friends.
The first message I got were like, I don't know exactly how it was set up, but they were like, just got this book and this is the recipe we're going to make. Almost felt worse for me because now I had to wait. I was like, oh my God, like they're going to do it. Like just do it and
Yeah.
don't tell me. And then like
Totally.
share it. Like I feel a responsibility of checking in on you. Is
Yeah.
everything okay? Does it go well? But I have to keep reminding myself, like, we are now part of these people's homes and
Mhm.
their food stories. And it's a huge responsibility. Like, it's a privilege to be able to do this. And yeah, those are the moments that we have to keep reminding ourselves, like, why we do it and not
Yeah.
because, and we're actually going to get to this because you, my friend, have talked me off the ledge.
Yes. Speaking of therapist, I was your
Yeah.
therapist.
Yeah. So let's talk about what it's like post pub day. And I mean, I like to be a very transparent person, and I have talked about this openly with people in social media that the post pub is like you're not really educated and prepared for it. Like it could go either way, but the commonality is it's marketing and selling and PR for a book. Like it's a lot of work. And I have an issue with ego. Like I don't like talking about myself or pushing myself in a what can come off to me as an ego way.
Mm.
And you were like, get over
Yeah.
it. The advice, like that conversation with you helped me so much. And it's very valuable and I still reflect on it. But I would love to give an opportunity for you to talk like, what advice would you give to future and current cookbook authors of planning for after pub day, like the marketing and PR side? Because you gave me tremendous advice.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's not
Yeah.
I was not the lead title for my publisher, which means I got very little support. And hiring publicists they're very expensive and you're paying for a maybe. It's not
Hmm.
even a sure return on your investment. So I just was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do it myself. I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
I think these are the big things I learned. Most importantly, it is not going to look like how you think it's going to look like. And I think the
Hmm.
sooner you can let go of that disappointment, the easier it is to just move forward. There were a lot of friends, really close friends, who I thought for sure they will write about this book. And then I forgot that like they have other people they have to ask permission before they can write something. And it just got squashed at some point because in the span of the spring season, there are a trillion books who are all talking to the same outlets and all want the
Mhm.
same things. And there's just not enough space for everybody. So it really forced me to think more broadly about how I can talk about this book and who I can pitch this book. And it actually was like a wider circle of people who came in. It wasn't the circle of friends that I thought
Mhm.
were going to be championing it. The other thing, which was advice from Jess Damick to me, which I passed on to you,
Mhm.
is be annoying. It like
Yeah.
and it's so hard to, like, follow up the 5th time on an email that someone hasn't
Mhm.
responded to, but until you get a yes or a no, don't give up on that email. Because there were a lot of times that I thought for like, I had a recipe run in People Magazine.
Mhm.
I had been emailing her since January, no indication that she was even receiving my emails, and then probably my 4th or 5th email in April, she popped back up and she was like, "Love this. We wanna do this one." And I was
Yeah.
like, A, where have you been? But B, like, thank God I sent that
Yeah.
next email. Like, until they tell you no, keep asking. Because what feels annoying to you a lot of times is just an email that got buried in their
Mhm.
inbox and they actually didn't even see it the first 3 times. The other thing too is talk to everybody about your book. So many things came from tips from other people. Someone had an email address that I really needed. Ask your community. It's really surprising who knows who
Mhm.
or who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. Just get it. However you have to get it,
Yeah.
just get it. But it's not something that you can just take on all by yourself with no help and no support. So it's
Yeah.
really the time to start asking your friends. I called in every favor I have never asked of somebody.
The other thing that you told me too that I have ran with it, I don't know exactly how you phrased it, but you categorized,
Oh, yes, my
uh,
list.
your
Yes.
list, and I do that now, like, for anything,
Yeah.
like, even for this podcast, I'm like, "Okay, like, this is how I'm gonna categorize guests that I want on here," like,
Yeah.
not that I'm categorizing everyone, but, like, there are some that I'm ambitious about, like, they'll never agree to this, but,
Mhm.
it resonated with me, and I really put it into practice, but I would love to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, that was kind of after that first wave when I realized, like, "Oh, I'm not getting the things I thought I was gonna get." I sat down and I made 2 columns, and one
Mhm.
column was the things my ego wanted for my book, and the other column was the things I actually need for my book to be successful.
Yeah.
And those were 2 very different lists. And my book, not to brag, but my book has sold incredibly well because I put all of my time and attention on the column of the things I need.
Mhm.
And some of those things from the ego column have since come back around, and I have done those things that I had thought in the beginning, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
They had almost no impact on sales of my book. They were
Mhm.
lovely things, but, like, I realized, like, those audiences actually don't really interact with their content in the same way that they used to.
Mhm.
So it's more of a prestige and a perception that, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you had something here," but that doesn't sell books. And focusing on the things that actually sold the books put me in a much better position.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic advice, and it's a good way of, like, reprogramming the way we think of, like you said, selling a book, not measuring success, but, like, what's gonna keep things moving forward. I think for a while, I was getting to the point where I was defeated because I was like, "It's because this is a queer-focused cookbook,
Mhm.
and we're in, like, a horrible political environment right now, and everyone's tiptoeing around it, and everyone's trying to, like, silo it as pollock desserts being only summertime recipes," and I really started to get defeated, and, like, I was fighting myself versus, like, after talking to you, it really it allowed me to, 1, shut the fuck up, but also be persistent, be proud of what you did, but it might not be annoying for another person, like you just said. So
Yeah.
very, very, very helpful.
I think it's also important, like, it's so we're just in such a time where everyone is comparing themselves and
Mhm.
everyone wants the thing the other person has, and that's not the point. Be
Yeah.
grateful for the things that you did get and the things that you
Yeah.
do have and the people who are willing to step up and champion your book. It's
Yeah.
not worth putting your energy into the I wish I want
Hmm.
because you're missing the people who are celebrating you.
Yeah. All right. So I have a last question. And this is just something that I do for every guest, lifting other queer food stars up and sharing their names and spotlighting them and um, introducing them to new audiences. So,
Yeah.
who are 2 to 3 food professionals, chefs, food writers, cookbook authors, editors, anything in the food and like world do you think that we should know and be introduced to?
Okay. So first, I'm going to say my friend Eric Piepenberg, who
Yes.
was in
I
our
love Eric
spring
so much.
class. I do too. He
Yes.
wrote the book Dining Out, which
Hmm.
I loved every second of that book.
Love.
It was
Such a good book.
so good. And just the depth of research and reporting in that book
Hmm.
is so insane. But I think that book is so beautiful and I hope it becomes a canon queer text in the
Hmm.
years to come.
Just talk about the book real quick. Like,
Yeah.
can I share this moment with you when I was on
Yeah.
the book tour? And because I was reading the book, because Eric's book published the same day as mine and John's too. Like, it
Mhm.
was like this, just like
Queer
gay
parade.
bubble, like hug. Um, so I was reading it and I would read about these places that Eric was talking about, and then I would be in that city, and
Oh,
I would
yeah.
then physically see like, I was in DC and then,
Yeah.
like, San Francisco and LA, and like, I would see these places and the emotion of having the context that Eric provided, and this was during Pride Month, like, I
Mhm.
got so emotional, I was like, "Holy shit, there's so much richness of, like, queer histories in front of me,"
Yeah,
and I wouldn't had never have known that. I would have walked past and been like, "Another queer bar, another gay bar,"
totally.
but
Yeah.
what Eric provided, oh, so it's just rich. It's just rich.
Yeah.
Yes, continue. So sorry.
No, I could talk about that book all day. It's so incredible. Um, who else? Do you know Liz Alpern? She's the founder of Queer Soup Night.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Love, like, that is queer gathering, making
Mhm.
space, being in community.
Yeah,
I love those nights. That's a really special program that now has just spread out. It started in Brooklyn, I think, but now it has spread to so many cities and there's queer
yeah.
soup nights all over the place. And I just love
It's
that.
amazing.
That sense of gathering and bringing things and yeah. And then who else? I would say my friend Devon Francis, who to me is queer food personified.
Okay.
Every dinner he does is so specific, so in community, so his point of view, and his food's just great. And I love him. So
Love that.
those are my top three queer people for right now.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for sharing that, and like I always like to tell people, I will have all of their social information included, and so you can find them. And who knows, they might be a future guest on that 8.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I hope Eric is on the
I know. I know. Casey, thank you so much. I can't believe we're done. It makes me sad. But yes, thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with
Thank
us.
you.
And this was just a lovely, lovely time.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's episode 6 with Casey Elsass. I hope it reminds you that food and the process of making it can connect people in ways you don't always expect. Now go grab What Can I Bring and support Casey's work. Take care.